Hola a todos, welcome back to Metafit Metamind Podcast, a podcast in which speakers, leaders, entrepreneurs, and influencers come in and share their journey on how they've gotten to this place in their life while also normalizing those conversations between mental and physical health and wellness. I am Chella Rodriguez, your coach and trainer of NLP and host of this podcast, and I created this space to remind you to raise your voice and share your story. And as your guide, I am here to create a pathway to let go of all those limiting chains behind and use this platform to empower and create awareness, purpose, and expansion in your life. You can follow us on Instagram at Metafit Metamind Podcast, or you can follow me at Coach Carlita. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Metafit Metamind Podcast. I'm super excited to be here with you again and to bring you another amazing guest. I know I haven't really been showing up on video much lately, on social media mainly, but that's because I've been getting back into my health and fitness, that flow, and it's been so good. Like, I am getting positive responses to that, and it's just like very gratifying, very exciting for me to know that I've been in that as well. Also, something I have been doing, I started riding again. I started riding my motorcycle again, and it's been so interesting and fun and exciting, nerve-wracking at the same time, but exciting to be back on the bike, on the motorcycle. And it's giving me this other part of me, this other excitement, right? A little bit of that adrenaline that I don't know, I think I had lost for a while. So, that's something else that I've been doing. But there's something about that, freedom and focus, that really shifts your energy. So those are a few things, that personally I've been doing. There's also a few exciting things, I should say, coming to Metafit Metamind. And I'll be sharing more soon. Plus, mark your calendars for September 27th because the Women Without Limits Movement Summit with the Women Without Limits nonprofit organization is happening, and it's going to be such a powerful experience. It's going to be here in Austin, Texas, and we have the location. It's going to be such a cool, fun thing to be at. And the one thing I'm pretty sure is that it's going to be free tickets. You didn't hear that from me. I'll confirm it next week. But that's what I have for now. Those are the exciting things. You'll see a few changes, like I said, within Metafit, its visuals and everything soon. Let me know when you notice those later on. So let's get into today's episode, right? With my wonderful guest, with my powerful guest, with my wisdom-filled guest, Chella Diaz. She is an incredible entrepreneur, financial empowerment coach who truly walks the walk, right? When it comes to helping women shift their mindset around money and success. And I actually connected with her through this app called Owl. And it's a kind of a networking thing, but it's really cool, really cool because you actually get to speak with people on the phone. And so I knew right away that she was going to be someone really great to talk to. She guided me in the beginning of that app. And one thing I really love about Chella is her heart. She's passionate about guiding women entrepreneurs. She's passionate about genuinely helping, right, to make a change, to change their value and create the life that they truly desire. And after more than 15 years that she was in corporate, right, in the corporate world, she made a bold move to move into entrepreneurship because she knew she was meant for more. So she's also a mom of 2 kids who are adults at this point. And like I said, she just brings so much wisdom, wealth, knowledge, experience, and clarity here to this table. So it's really great. I think you're going to enjoy it. So let's get into this week's episode. Thank you so much for being here at Metafit Metamind Podcast. I'm Carla Rodriguez, and I'm so excited to be bringing in an amazing guest, someone I met, I want to say about a month ago, but from that short talk that I had, I was like, yo, I have to have you on the podcast. So thank you, Chella, for being here.
It is my pleasure. It was immediate connection, for I felt it.
Yeah.
Right? It was like we knew we were going to have to get together and do something.
Yeah, and then now we found out before the recording, we found out that I'm in Austin and she comes to Austin here and there. So this is gonna be really cool. So Chella, because I'm so excited that you're here and I know that there's so much wisdom, and I met you through the Owl app, which we can talk about later as well. Who is Chella?
There's so many, right? There's so many
Yeah.
parts. So I'm going to start that Chella was a very curious child.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to learn more. I was curious about just about everything. And I was really interested in how money worked. So when I was 9 years old, and I know that I knew how much money I needed to get the stuff that was on my list to go to farmers markets, right? It was just something that came quite naturally for me.
Yeah.
I purchased my first car when I was 17 and my first house when I was 23.
That is amazing.
And before the audience and before you listeners think, so my dad was a baker and my mom was a housewife. So it's not like I really received much guidance on that, or they helped me with any way, shape, or form financially, that is. And so this is something that I'm passionate about, and that's just something that I want to be able to share with others. Because listen, I am truly not the smartest person, but it just makes sense to me. And I want to be able to pass that on and shortcut somebody else's learning curve.
Yeah, and that's so powerful that from an early age, you already knew what needed to be done, what you wanted. I'm going to go to the farmer's market. I already know that list and how much specifically I am going to have for that. And so that's not something that most of us have, I feel like. At least I know I didn't. I was a naive girl, and I think at the time I was okay with being the naive girl. And I think my mom also protected me a lot from that, right? Because the way she grew up. But how is it that you knew from that early age? And how has that journey brought you to where you are at now? What's that journey been for you?
I don't know how I knew. I just knew that it just made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people are good at painting. Some people are good. I'm also competitive. So in just asking questions, right? I was always curious about questions. And I always wanted to learn about food as well. Money and food, right? Because I think for me, food, you can learn so much about a person. Not only, what their background is, but what their favorite food is. To me, food, sitting at a table, eating all kinds of different food, you can learn so much about the person. So to this day, I still
Yeah.
enjoy doing that.
Interesting. I've never had that perspective be brought before. Like, tell me about something like that you can learn from someone based on their food preference. Is it like simple foods, complicated, like more flavors, or like how is it that you can tell?
All of that, yes. But
Mm-hmm.
also, do they like spicy food?
Uh-huh.
Right? Do they
Yeah.
like healthy food?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you can
Yeah.
learn so much from that
Yeah.
because then it gives you an insight. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what about the persons, and I've come across that only eat like two types of food.
Yeah.
And, some people only eat like Mexican food and Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But to me, it's like that for me gives me an insight that they're not really open to tasting other foods,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Versus a person like me that I'm in, whatever it is, right? I prefer not to eat a lot of meat. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that that's just not at the top of my list.
Just
But other than
preference.
that, and I don't do spicy, but other than that, I'm in, right?
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
learn about the cultures. And this is something that I learned with one of my sons when he was learning a second language.
Mm-hmm.
Well, food was a big part of learning a second language because they got to learn about the food, right? So it was, and from that, and us getting together as parents and bringing in, and we were very fortunate. My children grew up in a city where we had 27 different languages
Wow.
in
Yeah.
the home, right? So it was just a great opportunity for them to learn, not only about so many different cultures, but so many different foods.
And so that curiosity, right, with food, food being one of them, but that curiosity, what has that led you to doing what you're doing now too?
The conversations and the learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I for the longest time, wanted to teach financial literacy.
Okay.
My really soft spot is 19 to 24-year-olds because they're getting ready to go out into the real world. They're getting ready to go out and get a job, or they start their career, whatever that may be. So I started teaching. Volunteering at different high schools to teach financial literacy. And
I think
it
that's
was
so
wonderful.
important because they don't teach that to us in high school.
And it was great because I got an opportunity to take off. At the time, I was in corporate, but I got the opportunity to take off during work and go to the high school and then come back. So that was part of our volunteer hours. So that was a great beginning. And then when I left corporate, I started doing that. So I started visiting more high schools. And I thought, this is it, right?
Yeah.
What if I published a book? And what if we met a contest? And that did not quite turn out. And then I was invited to do a workshop for women. And so that's my pivot. That's when I switched. I went from wanting to teach, which I still do. I still host financial literacy workshops, but then I started doing it for women.
And what have you found in like how women come into those workshops and like how what they get from when they come out, or what have you seen that they've gone out and done or accomplished with that?
Yeah, the way I present it is that we don't, it's not about the money, right? Because I have found that women have a tough time charging their value and increasing their fees.
Yeah.
So I reverse engineer it. I get them an exercise, and this is going to be great for your listeners. So this is an actual exercise that I work my clients. So please take it, use it. Step 1, make a list of all of the people that have helped, right? All of the people that have helped, and whether it's paid or unpaid. So making that list, right? Because we all help. Let's face it. No offense to the men, but women, we're always helping somebody, right? So make a list of all the people that helped. And then what did they say after they worked with you? Again, whether it was paid or unpaid, doesn't matter. When they start making those lists, something happens within them, right? Because let's say that people said 55 different things about how you helped them, how you made their life easier, how you were able to shortcut their learning curve, how their life is better for whatever that may be after they worked with you. All of that, people are willing to pay a lot of money for it. But when you see it, something happens when you see it in writing, when you see it in black and white.
Yeah.
Right? So just looking at that list, that's why I believe in, listen, I carry my notebook. I don't care if people make fun of me because I always write notes. But making that list is so empowering because you get to see it. Because sometimes we forget.
Yeah, I think that's so true because this is what I remind my clients and my students of is like, hey, what are we celebrating today or this week? And I think because as women, we are of service, right? We're nurturers. We want to take care of our kids, of people, our family. We don't always put down the list of what has been done. And sometimes we're like, oh, I'm not heard, I'm not appreciated. And it's because it's not something that's mentioned, right? It's maybe observed, but not outwardly expressed. Like, hey, thanks for doing the laundry today. Or thanks for picking me up, mom, from school. That's like $40, $50 of gas, or whatever, And I think that's so important that you just said that because I haven't really made a list. I've made a list before, but I've never included the people that I never paid or that didn't pay me in the process of me helping them or coach them or give them some kind of, one-on-one insight that it was kind of like, hey, I'm going to help you real quick. And are you open to that? Even if it wasn't something that she hired me or he hired me for. And I've never done that. So I feel like now I'm going to go do my homework on that.
Yeah, make a list of all the people they help and what was the transformation, right? So that's your first list. The second list is what did they say? Right? Because even after you help somebody, whether it was immediate or how were you, what are the words that they used? Because most likely other people are going to be using the same words, right? And so when you see these two lists, those are huge for marketing because now you're like, oh my God, I helped this person and this is how her life or his life is better. So that's important because you get to see it in writing. And then post up those lists somewhere where you can see them on the daily basis because we need that reminder. A celebration, absolutely. We have got to celebrate. So I usually have my clients make a list of the things they're going to do to celebrate.
Yes.
Right. So that way you don't even have to think about it. Now, it could be, and this is just from some of my clients, it could be going for a drive somewhere, whether it's the mountains, the beach, whatever, right? It could be that. It could be taking yourself to a lunch. It could be washing your car. And these are not made up. This is what some of my clients, there is no wrong way because we all have different goals. For me is going to a movie.
Oh,
Treating
cool.
myself to a movie is a treat because I don't go to a lot of movies.
I like those solo dates. Those are awesome, actually.
Taking myself to lunch. I definitely enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
Going for a hike. But then for me, my all-time favorite is to bake. I like baking to celebrate. Because for me, baking, I get so many brilliant ideas. So making a list of the things you're going to do to celebrate, but also what you're doing is you're giving your brain a reason to look forward to, right? When I achieve this milestone, whatever that may be, right? If you said you're going to work out 3 times this week and you worked out 3 times this week, celebrate, right? Whatever those may be, you know what I mean? It's, sometimes, let's face it, ladies, sometimes it's, you know, we got out of bed and we didn't shoot anybody, not physically.
Yep.
But that's a
I didn't throw the
celebration.
chancla at anybody today.
we didn't do the chancla thing. That's a celebration, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think we celebrate enough as women.
Yeah. I think what you just said, enough, right? It's like, it's actually quite the opposite for just a tendency of what I've seen and just comment of how, you know, people coming in to work with me say is like, oh, it's just, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not making enough, or something enough. And there's something there that I think as a whole we need to work on, the enough thing. You know, like, what is enough? How do we know when enough is enough, right? How can I be grateful and celebrate what I just have accomplished? And yeah, if I want a little more, cool, let me celebrate first. And now let's set a goal for this other thing that I want, or this, you know, more clients or more business, or just a 10-day vacation to, I don't know, Bora Bora. That's a goal of mine, right? So, you know, how can we work on that enough thing? And I think you telling us about financial literacy is so key in understanding this thing about enough, right? How can I get enough information so I know more of like my career value, not as a person, but of what I'm doing, because I'm here to serve, as you said. Yeah. So I think that's so cool. That's so cool that you're like sharing that with women. Again, I think everybody needs to have this, but yeah, I think we definitely undervalue our services and what we have to offer. And I always tell my tia this too. It's like, tia, she cleans houses, right? But she's always like on the lower end, which is fine, right? But she feels bad. She feels bad to, you know, for a 2-story house to charge here in Austin like $200. And she's like, no, that's too much. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Like, how much work did you actually do? And she tells me everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to help you.
And so now, let's face it, we're going to wrap it up. So now that you have the 2 lists, how you help them, who you have helped, and what they said, but also what's the transformation, you know, how you help them. When you look at those 2 lists, and it doesn't matter what your price point is at that time, when you first started the list, I want to encourage each and every single one of you listening or watching is increase the fee. I don't care about how much. A lot of coaches are going to tell you 10%, 20%. You know what? We all have a different money meter. It doesn't matter what that increase is. So let's take your Thea, for instance. So $200. What if she made a list of all of the things that she does? Because I know 2-story, let's put at the top of the list the fact that we have to go up and down those stairs, right? Things that we don't even think about. So make a list. And then for her, $200. Let's say we get her to increase it by $225. So just by $25, right? It's increments, right? It's a small amount. It doesn't have to be, you know, 500 or double it, but it's those amounts that we did.
Yeah.
To me, it's about, our money meters are a different size. It could be the size of a golf ball. Nothing wrong with that. It could be a tennis ball. It could be a baseball. It could be a basketball. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We are where we are.
Yeah.
It's about taking those steps that are going to get you to the next. So I definitely encourage you, have your make that list. And then what if she just says $25, right? And then what's here is when she goes out and gets a new client, she's going to start at $225, right?
Yeah.
So she's already given her raise just by doing that.
And I think it's the first time. What do you think? Is it the first time that's the hardest?
And let me tell you, because we want your listeners to really go out and make a difference.
Yes.
So the magic number here, ladies, I'm giving you all of the good stuff. The magic, now that you know, and we're going to use this example. Now we know that we're going to increase the fee to $225.
Mm-hmm.
The magic is going out and having 10 practice calls. Okay, we're just going to practice. So in this case, I'm going to pretend that I'm your Thea, and I'm just going to talk to 10 different people, and I'm going to say, I'm looking for new clients. I clean houses. I have been doing it for this many years, and my fee is $225. When she says that for 10 times, now they cannot be friends, so she cannot come to you and practice with you, right? It has to be people potential. We're not looking to enroll them. We're just looking for our mind, our heart, and our body be on the same page with that practice, with that fee. Something happens around the 7th, 8th call. Okay? Because now you've been practicing the first 2 calls, your hands are sweaty, you have butterflies in your stomach, you get a little choked up because it's a new amount. Yeah. By the time you get to 7, you show up, right?
Yeah.
Can you see?
I was like, oh my gosh.
Right? But by the time they get to the 7th, that's why I said 10 practice calls. So my success right now, one of my clients that did that, just 10 practice calls. She wasn't looking to enroll anybody. She enrolled 2 new clients during those 10 practice calls, and her fee was $4,900 per client. So that was huge. That was big.
That's
not
amazing.
just the amount of money, but how easy it was for her to enroll those folks.
Yeah. So she got 2 out of the 10 that was supposed to be practice, and they're like, yes, I want to work with you.
But what it did for her, because something happens when you begin to practice, after we get the sweaty, and the butterflies and the choking, and then you're thirsty, and after we go through all of that.
Oh my God, all the feelings. I'm feeling it right now.
There you go. So I'm definitely going to challenge you. I love challenges. I'm challenging you to do that 10 practice calls. You go to some networking events. I know our time is limited. We meet 10 people, even at the grocery store. Yeah. Let's be honest, right? We're not looking to enroll. We're just looking to practice. This is all about us. Yeah. This is about me practicing so that I choke up at the beginning. And so those people that I'm not looking for them to hire me, right? But you never know. But your intention is, I'm going to have 10 practice calls and see where it goes. Yeah. That's it. That is your magic formula to get yourself to increase your fees and enroll new clients.
Yeah. So make the list. What are they saying? And have the 10 practice calls. You may enroll somebody in that. Even if it's $5, $20, $25 more dollars.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's wherever you are now, increase it and go from there. I like to increase it for 3. Let's say, take your Thea, for instance. So it's 200. I like, for her, I would properly practice. So we have 3 numbers. So I would properly practice at 225, 300, and 350.
Interesting.
Right? Because then she's going to find which one she's comfortable with. Maybe 225, she's not. Maybe 250s, right? But having those 3 numbers is going to help her.
Feels better.
Yes. And that's what we're going. What's in alignment with what you're doing? Keeping in mind that long list of things that you know you do.
Yeah. And for you, how is it that, like, you had to, I'm pretty sure you did the 10 calls and everything. Like, how did you discover that it was those 10 calls for you? And how long did it take you for you to, like, have that muscle? Like, you know what? It's time for me to increase this. What was, like, going on in your mind?
That phenomenal coaches at the time, let me tell you, because when
Yeah.
I first started over 10 years ago, my fee was $119 per session.
Wow.
And then, and that's where my money meter was, right? It's something totally new. And then I packaged it to 5 sessions, and that was just a single session. And then I packaged it to 5 sessions to like $550. Again, I was working with a coach, and
Yeah.
that's how I knew. And then the 550 went to 1,100, to 2,100,
Amazing.
to 3,500,
Yeah.
to 5,500, 75, and then 15,000. Right? It doesn't, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be right from 119 to 550, and
It's a
that was,
gradual
and then
thing.
1,100 and 2,100. So it doesn't have to be. It's just getting accustomed to that. And so, because my coaches worked with me in that, and I was able to do it. And for me, I was able to make the move very quickly. But when I started working with people, that's when I found that the 10 calls was the magic one. I tested different ones, but 10 calls, because something happens at the 7th,
Yeah.
8th
Yeah.
call. Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. In this process of like either the practice calls or actually getting into possible sales calls or getting into sales calls with possible clients, what do you think is key in selling them your service? Not just you, but just in general for whoever's listening, to sell your service with that new number that you have.
One, we don't sell. Key. This is a
Yeah.
writer downer. We enroll people.
That's right.
And we only enroll those people that we know we can help.
Yeah.
That's the shift. Because let's say that I know I can help you, Thea, and I don't work with necessarily that.
Yeah.
But let's just say.
This is just the example, yo.
This is an example, folks. If I know I can help her make more money, right? I am going to say, truly from the bottom of my heart, well, I can help you with 1, 2, 3, right? And it's up to them to say, yes, I'm ready. Because but you know what? There's people that I know I don't want to work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so
people.
for them, be totally upfront, because you know they're going to be challenging. And I've been there. There was times where I took all those clients, but now I'm no longer there. So at the beginning, it's okay if we need to take those challenging clients because we need to pay our bills. Let's face it. But after you get to that other point, to the other side, is when you're enrolling a person, is if you know you can help them, if you know where they are, and with your service, you can help them get to the other side, is simply an invitation to work with you, right? If somebody invites you to the party, you can't come. It's just an invitation, right? Because I think we take it too personal. It's never, ever, ever personal. The timing is off and they're not ready, right? Because I can help a lot of people. And at the beginning, it was like, I know I could see their potential. I know I could help them, but I cannot want success more than they want it for themselves.
Yeah.
And ladies, we do that.
We're like reaching out, like, hey, let me help you. Let me help you. Even with our kids, let me help you.
Right? We cannot, we're there to pave the way. We're not there to pull them, to push them.
Yeah.
But so it's never ever about making a sale. It's about making an offer, making it open. This is how I work. This is my package. If person can say, you know what, I'm not ready. You know what, I can appreciate that and respect that. Let me know when you are.
Yep.
But most importantly, this is where even the no can be a maybe. Ladies, we're giving you all of it. We're going to have this transcribed. We're going to have to turn it into an ebook because this is good stuff.
This is a mastery class right here.
That's it. This is the paper. We can say, you know what? I appreciate you keeping me in mind if you come across somebody that can benefit from my service. Ladies, that's worth repeating. Even if the client is not ready, get them thinking. Because I know you already provided service. I know you already gave them tips because we always do. Say, when you come across somebody that can benefit from my service, I would appreciate the referral. That's what I call planting seeds.
Yeah. Especially because you've already told them a little bit about the program or whatever you're offering or going to be helping them with, it's like, oh, that sounds so cool. I'm just not ready right now. Okay, that's okay. I appreciate that. And who else do you know? Maybe do you know two people, or, are there two people that you can connect me with that possibly can benefit from this? Cool. Who are they? Make the connection or whatever. And that's been a practice for
I'm
me
going to
too.
challenge you on that, Carla. I'm
Yeah.
going to challenge you. This is real, folks. We're not making this up.
No, we're not. This is
I'm
not
going to
scripted.
challenge you on the asking for two people, because what if they know five?
Right? Yeah.
That's why I like to say,
I love this.
when you come across people that can benefit from my service, I would appreciate the referral. Because
Yeah.
when you say two, then
They'll
you're
only send
locking them
two.
in.
Yeah.
So just leave it open.
That's
keep
good.
me in mind when you come across somebody that can benefit from my service.
Yeah, that's really good. That's awesome. And I love that you have it as an invitation. Normally when I get on calls, sales calls, but not, I call them opportunity calls. Let's see if this is an opportunity for us to work together,
Yep.
or maybe this is not the time, or like you said, somebody that you know.
Yep.
This can be an opportunity for you to learn more about what I've got, but also for me to learn about what you actually need. Maybe there's someone that I know too that could possibly like work with you too.
Exactly. Always coming from a place of service, and most of us do. I mean, there's going to be your odd person that doesn't, but most of us come from a place, most of us have tons of resources,
Yes, we
right?
do.
Maybe if they're not ready for us, maybe we can recommend the podcast. Maybe we can recommend the book to get them started on their way.
Some of my favorite clients have been the ones that I like had an offer for them a year ago, and then they reached out and they're like, "Hey, Carla, are you still doing that? When is the next one?" Yeah, okay, I want in. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Like I planted those seeds.
Yep.
Nice." And they see that I'm still doing this and that I'm so passionate about it. And I think that's also where people will want to be working with you, is like they feel it, they see it. They're like, "Yeah, this person is really genuine about what the work that they're doing." And yeah, as women, that's, I think, we're most of the time, I don't know if about everyone, but I'm going to generalize that most of us, we are here to for the purpose of serving or helping, or doing it with that good intention.
Absolutely. And like, listen, most of us are. We may have different passions. We may have different nonprofits, different communities that we support. But the bottom line is that we support. We're always supporting somebody else
For sure.
in one way or another.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, along this process, this journey of yours, how you've now, you're in this place of all this growth, all this transformation, the challenge of yourself to increase those prices too, right? Along that process, that correlation between mental and physical health, and I even say spiritual, emotional health, how has that played out in your life?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There were some rough patches,
Yeah.
right? Because for me, the first time I didn't charge, I got paid to speak. Very first time, and it was $500. I know, right? My body went into shock, right? Because me sitting or standing in front of a classroom talking went against what I heard growing up from my dad, which is you have to work hard, right? It's knowing that when you do that, it's not about saying no to the opportunity. It's about saying yes and then going and getting the help that you need in order for you to show up as the best version of yourself. It is about saying yes. If somebody wants you to go out and speak, say yes, even if the butterflies are there, right?
Yeah.
It's about saying yes, as long as you know that it's something you can do, right? But if it's something you can do and saying no because you're afraid, but that's where the growth, right? It's having people around you that can support you, having mentors that have already done what you want to do, right? It's surrounding yourself with people that've been there, done that, and you can't go and ask them questions. Now, the other thing with that is, ladies, and I've been part of this, for the longest time, I was the most experienced person in the room, meaning whatever community, whatever networking part, right? And that was good for the ego. And, because now people were coming to me with questions. but it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't, right, because I needed to grow. It wasn't I wasn't growing. So if you're going down the road, if you're the most experienced person in the room, nothing wrong with helping. I'm not saying that at all. But we have to find other rooms where we can learn. And that's part of the growth.
Yeah. So find someone who's already done it, right? Or who's already where you want to be at, I think. I love, to me, I used to be so scared to be in the rooms of people that had all this money or all this knowledge. I was like, am I even supposed to be here? Do I even belong here? I think I even said that the first time I co-wrote a book with all these powerful women entrepreneurs here in Austin. They made me talk, and I was so shy at the time. I was like, I don't know how I like snuck in here with this group of super powerful women, because at the time I didn't believe it, and I even look back now, I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. I was meant to be in this room of really powerful people because I was one of the most like early stages entrepreneur, podcaster and stuff. And so yes, get yourself in those rooms. I will say they are scary, and they are like the thing that will help your mind stretch, your behavior change, your goals even may like be a little bigger than you thought you could have, because it's not just for them or just for Chella or for me or whoever you're in the room with. It's for you too.
And also look, right, but that's what I'm talking about, is saying yes, even though you feel scared.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes we don't know why we're doing certain things.
Yeah.
Right? But also a lot of those women want to help. Right? They want to share. They want to help you because they want to share all the mistakes that they've made. Right? Just so think about that. If anybody asks me questions, I'm always open. Now, I do take offense when they begin to abuse that. Then I won't. Right? There has to be a give and take.
Yes.
If they're going to keep coming back, no, I'm sorry, you're going to have to get on my program and pay.
There's going to have to be some energy exchange for sure.
It has to be an energy. But at the beginning, anybody can give you like tips to guide you to the next steps, because that's all you need, right? You need those things. You need those steps. I like to think of it as we're kindergarten, then we go to elementary school, then we move on to middle school, right? We all need those teachers, those guidance along the way. That's the same thing that happens in our entrepreneurial journey. It's those steps. We just need those steps. By the time you get to high school, it's a different mindset. So you're going to need somebody else to help you along those lines. For sure.
Definitely those guides. And so let me ask you this, because this is about you and just me getting to know you more and my audience. And like, we're getting all the nuggets, the what to do. This is, like I said, a masterclass. What are you excited about that's coming for you, Chella, or for your business? Like, what should we know that we should be on the lookout for?
Oh my God, two major big things. One, I am launching out an accountability group, right? Because now that you know that you've increased your fees, how do we get you to stay accountable to do the things that you need to do in order to get that income to this? So group, and that's going to be on my LinkedIn page. But then I also, for those entrepreneurs that maybe are just starting out, and they don't know what to do on LinkedIn, I do have a LinkedIn online course. And I am so excited about that because this has been at least 5 years in the making. Just guiding entrepreneurs, because if you want to grow your business, nothing wrong with any of the other social platforms. But if you compare them, people on LinkedIn have more money. I want to hang out with the people that have more money, right?
Yes. For sure.
I don't mind hanging out with the others, but I want to hang out because that means that they'll be able to afford my services. And even if they're not going to hire me, I'm hanging out with a different group of folks. So those are the two, is my accountability group and my online LinkedIn course. I'm very, very excited because I know that it already has. I've already sold it. It's already made a difference for entrepreneurs.
Yes. And I think a lot of people are wanting to learn, get in more into LinkedIn and like all of that. So that's really exciting. So I'll include all the notes, all the links to all of that. And I didn't ask you this before. So people can find you on LinkedIn, right? What can they find you as on LinkedIn?
Chella Diaz is on LinkedIn.
Okay. And
there's not many of us.
No, only one. Well, that I know, only one. And so what is one thing that if somebody did want to learn from you, what would you share with them?
That you have a lot more to give than you give yourself credit for. That we tend to, just because it comes as second nature to you, something that comes very easily to you, that is the reason other people are willing to pay you a lot of money. And I think we underestimate that. Oh, it's so easy. Yeah, great. That's your gift. But other people cannot do that. Listen, the list of things that I cannot do is very long. Too long for this show, right?
Yeah.
But those are the things that I open to paying somebody else because I cannot do it.
So important, so important. So thank you so much for sharing this, Chella. Oh my God, all the things that you shared, I'm so grateful for. I'm excited to whenever you do come back to Austin for me to meet you here in person. So everybody go learn from Chella. She has so much knowledge, especially on LinkedIn. Also, you can find her in the OWL app. That's OWWL. Links will be in the show notes as well. It basically, give us a little quick thing on what OWL is.
OWL is a platform where you can seek to have conversations. Mm-hmm. OWL is a platform where you go build the relationships. It's also find collaborations and network. This is where Carla and I met. We met on OWL. And I will let you guys in on a little secret. I've been there for 2 years. OWWLL. Reach to me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to share my code so you can get. But also 2 years, been a game changer for my business. And I have the highest call volume on the platform. So I know, I can help you. I can guide you to the platform. But it's about having those 10-minute conversations on the phone with somebody.
Yes. Right? So really cool if you really wanted to make some really great, deeper connections and just like a transactional thing. Check out the app. Like I said, notes or links will be in the show notes. And again, thank you so much, Chella. This was so cool, so empowering, so knowledge filled for me. So I always get kind of like the first dibs on what people share. So thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure and it's been an honor. And I look forward to the recording.
Yes. All right. That was such a fun and insightful conversation with Chella. I love how much wisdom she brought to the table. And honestly, even for me, it was a reminder to go back and make some lists that were due to be made. The kind of lists that really show us our value, not just those that like what we talked about in the episode with people that we've worked with before, right? For money, but even those that the people that we've helped along the way just out of service because we have some kind of knowledge or they wanted some kind of tip, right? And so that really was like, whoa, I need to do that. So other than that, here are 2 big takeaways I got from this conversation in this episode. Number 1, the way we value ourselves is deeply tied to the way we allow ourselves to receive. So when you list out, the people you've helped and the transformation you've supported them through, it becomes so much easier to own your worth, right? And increase your rates without feeling that guilt because, first of all, economy's changing. And so we have to keep up with that. We are putting food on the table and taking care of our loved ones, right? And so along with that, sometimes we do feel those things. And so it's about gaining that knowledge about why we're increasing our rates without feeling that guilt, right? The second thing is that selling doesn't have to feel pushy, right? Like the old way. So Chella said, it's not even about selling. It's about enrolling. It's an invitation, right? It's about offering your support to those you can help and practicing that conversation enough times to stand in that confidence. Yeah. And so the more you practice, the easier it gets, right? Just like in social media, the more you show your face, the easier it gets. So it's about consistency. Okay. So that is what I got. Let me know what you learned, anything that you took away from this, because I thought it was really good, knowledgeful episode. So before I go, I want you to remember that this year is the Power Summit with Women Without Limits movement. It is on September 27th. And as a board member, I'm honored to be part of this event and this incredible organization. And so if you want to be part of the organization as a volunteer, if you want to donate to the organization, send me a message, right? Because I'd love to see you there. I'd love to see your name, or if you just tell me like, hey, Carla, I contributed in this kind of way. Yeah. So other than that, in November, we are launching the first cohort of the hypnosis certification training. So stay tuned for more details. This is going to be like such a powerful year, to be honest. And so it's going to be really good. You're going to see other changes online as well from me. And if you know someone who would love this episode or who needs to hear Chella's message, share it with them. Because it's gonna just, for one, give them some knowledge, but it helps me pop up on more platforms. And as always, leave a review, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. So thank you for listening to this episode up to this point. I am Carla Rodriguez. This is Metafit Metamind Podcast, where we're having conversations that we would have never had. Until next time.